Hey, I'm N64 Josh, and this is Gamers in Karts getting interviewed, but we're not exactly in Karts because Mario Kart is getting updated because they decided to add Labo to it. So, that's cool and all. I thought about changing the name if we were going to be in Mario Kart, changing the name of this show to Gamers in Karts Getting Angry since we were playing Mario Kart, but I think we're going to stick with getting interviewed. My guest tonight is none other than Camautobot. What's up, dude? How are you?
Very good, thank you.
So we're going to just jump right into the old interview. What's your history with Nintendo?
Well, I can remember the very first day, actually, when I was about maybe 6 or 7. We moved to California, and my brother, he bought a NES from a Finger Hut catalog. And I remember the day he got it, and arrived to our house, and he opened it up, and of course I've never played any video game before that. Never played Atari, never played even the arcade, other than maybe Chuck E. Cheese little ticket redemption games. And so I was all excited to see this gray box that my brother got from Finger Hut, and he got this, by the way, when he was 15. He had a job that paid him under the table, working pizza at a pizza place that was local, and we had this old, I'd probably say maybe a 13-inch black and white TV with the dials on the side.
I love it.
So we hooked up. we hooked up this NES, and when we started playing it, I was dumbfounded about how awesome this thing was. And he had Super Mario Duck Hunt with it, of course, and no other games. And you have kids, correct? You have 3, is it?
I have 4.
4, okay.
I have 4
I have
dogs
3
now,
myself. I didn't know.
We're...
Now, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
No,
now, when you have you ever bought something for your kids and then they played with the box instead of the actual toy?
Yeah, for sure.
Yes. Well, my brother had the NES, and my mom let him hook it up to her color TV, the family color TV, which is maybe a 25-inch TV.
Okay.
And I grabbed the box that the NES came in, and I drew Mario Brothers, my own version of Mario Brothers, on the cardboard box, and I pretended to play the NES while my brother was playing the NES. And I can remember to this day doing that, and that's what started my whole history with Nintendo, and I've always been a Nintendo fan ever since. With Mario Brothers being the very first game. I know that's a lot of people's first game. It's kind of redundant with it, but still, it's something I always will enjoy playing Mario Brothers. My wife blames my brother that got me into collecting video games. So that's what started my Nintendo history with that.
So he was like, "Hey, how about you just draw and not be Luigi?" Is that what I'm hearing?
Pretty much. I think my sister was playing with him at the time. I'm the youngest of 3 siblings.
Oh, okay. It makes a little more sense. Yeah. I was like, man, what a nice bro. Like, the second controller doesn't quite work yet. It'll work soon. Right. Don't worry.
It'll work when my friend's over, but not when you. For some reason, maybe because you're 6, it's not gonna work.
Video games will ruin your brain. Go ahead and create stuff.
Yeah. Well, see, the thing is so I guess that's the first. I was actually an inventor of Labo. I never realized that.
Yeah. There you go.
I should ask Nintendo for some royalties, right?
Yeah. Get it.
Think they'll listen to me actually? Oh man, he blew me up.
I'm not sure what happened.
But with a 2-controller thing, my brother, me and him are about 8 years apart, and we're really close. In fact, with the second controller thing, I remember playing Contra for the first time with my brother, and the funny thing is Konami code was a new thing figured out there.
Oh yeah.
My brother's trying to put the Konami code in, doing the up, down, left, right, BA select start, and he couldn't do it for the life of him. He was trying and trying and trying and could not do the code because he was trying to do it as fast as he could. And now I realize is you don't have to do it that fast actually. But anyways, I come from a family of believers, and my brother, I was like 7 at the time. He's like, hey Cameron, pray that to Jesus that we can I can put the code in. So I'm this little boy, so I'm like, okay. So I start praying, and I guess God answered our prayers, and my brother gets the code in, and then that night we beat Contra, me and him together. We didn't have to continue or nothing. We did the 30 lives all together, but yeah, he asked me to pray. Of course, at church the next Sunday, I didn't say, hey, I got a praise report. Lord answered my prayers about playing video games.
Oh my gosh, that is too good. That's too good. So, what were some of your favorite games on the old NES?
Well, of course, the ones I mentioned already. But my first video game I bought, and I mentioned to you this before, in just messages, but Felix the Cat, the game. I'm not sure if you've ever played that. Have you? No. Of course, when I was a kid, any video game sounds good, even the silly movie video games. Like, oh, I'm gonna play Terminator, and of course, this sucked.
Oh, but, Predator was the worst.
Yes. That one's hard. There's a few other movie ones. But anyways, I saved up my allowance, and I went to Toys R Us. And with Toys R Us, when it was awesome, when you get the little piece of paper, you take it to the little cage area, and then they hand you your game right there.
I thought that was the gates of heaven, honestly, that little cage. Yes. I was like, could you just let me in there for a few minutes? Just a few minutes. So
I guess the Lord answered my prayer again then, right? The gates of heaven opened up, and it handed me a
Felix the Cat. Oh my gosh.
Although he had his magic bag of tricks, right? And my life was the same thing of everything that remotely was magic. My mom told me, no, don't do that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and anyways, I remember picking it up, and I had an allowance, time allowance all the time when I would have playing with video games. I had 30 minutes a day and an hour on Saturday, and I couldn't play on Sunday because of church.
And makes sense. I had very similar rule set at my house.
Yes, and then I had the Felix the Cat, and I loved it, absolutely love it, and it's still one of my favorite games. In the game, what you do is you have to pick up power-ups, and it's not like your normal one death kill. If you don't have any power-ups, you get one death. And then each power-up that you get, I just scored for you.
Thanks, man.
You're welcome. I was just answering your prayer right there. Anyways, in the game, so I'm not sure how many power-ups you can get. And so when you get hit, you lose that power-up, and then if you go to the very first power-up, and of course you can die. And you instant death for falling off cliffs. But I went and I was, would play, but only had 30 minutes, and I couldn't beat the game in 30 minutes at all. And one night, my mom and my dad, I shared a room with my mom and my dad because we only had a house with 2 rooms. And my mom tells me, hey, go ahead and go play a video game. And so I was like, all right. So I played I guess my mom and dad needed to talk, or, their mom and dad. And so I sat down and I beat the game in one hour or so. I don't remember how long it was. And I beat it. And in the game, once you beat it, I believe if you beat it, you can do hardcore mode. And believe I played it again and beat it in hardcore mode again. And I can't remember if it's that or if that was Kirby. I know Kirby you can do it, but I believe
Okay.
in Felix the Cat you can too. But anyways, I think that's probably one of my most favorite NES games is that one in general, and because I have the most memories for it. It was the first video game I bought myself, was able to play it. Another favorite NES game is the one that you like a lot, Bucky O'Hare.
Oh yeah.
Yes, my dad bought that one at a yard sale, I believe, and my dad would buy them all the time. The video games, he had that one, Contra, the Hard Corps, is it? Another rare game. And back then,
Contra
they
Force?
weren't
Is
worth.
that the one you're talking about?
I'm sorry.
Contra Force? Is that the one you're talking about?
Yes. Hard Corps is the Sega Genesis one, right?
Something like that. Yeah.
Yeah. But anyways, yeah. But the Bucky O'Hare, I remember playing it, and I didn't know too much about Bucky O'Hare, only that it was a green rabbit, or whatever color he is, blue, green, something like that. To get confused with the other green rabbit, other video game, Jack the Rabbit, same makers of.
I don't even know.
Yeah, there's a green rabbit that is oh hey, look at that! I blew up on a score.
Are you kidding me right now?
Anyways, so that one's really good. Thought I would like Star Wars for the NES, and quickly found out no.
It's a
horrible game.
That's a little rough, yeah.
Yeah, I mean it's not like bad gameplay. It's just it's too freaking hard for me.
Right.
Yeah. And I remember, just trying to do the stupid spikes and all that.
Yeah.
A lot of my NES history, besides the ones I mentioned, were my dad buying them at yard sales and then would turn around and selling them himself at a higher price. So I never really got to enjoy too many NES games.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I grew up in the prime of video games, though. I was born in '81, so actually being able to play a lot of the, Contra and Super C. I guess Super C is another one. I enjoyed playing that with my brother. I don't like it as much as original Contra. A lot of people like Super C better, but I think just the memories is what makes me with that.
Yeah, I'm right there with you.
Yeah.
With actually, and it's not that I have anything against Super C. I never really played it when I was younger. I don't even know that I really knew about Super C much. Like the local game store that had Bucky O'Hare, like rental store that had Bucky O'Hare, had Contra. Like you could go and rent an entire NES if you wanted to, the whole system and everything. And it really didn't have many games. Like it had like Turtles 3, like the Manhattan Project, and Contra and Bucky O'Hare, and maybe occasionally Mario 2. But I mean, for the most part, it was usually pretty picked through. You might find like a Wheel of Fortune or something, but like, who really wants to spend their allowance on Wheel of Fortune?
Life Force, I really highly enjoy that one. Another one you can use the Konami code on that one.
Right.
Yep. Batman, the movie one, which isn't not really based on the movie, loosely based on the movie.
Right. Yeah,
That one really enjoy. Of course, all the Marios, Mario 2, Mario 3. Trying to think of other ones. Man, you got my memories going when you're talking about different games.
What about like any of like Adventure Island games or anything like that? Did you get any of those?
Oh yes, my dad. That's when my dad sold, and I'm like, man. But I sold a lot of my stuff too. Yeah, my dad had bought Adventure Island, which is absolutely just awesome game. Especially, I was like, oh man, you get a skateboard in this. And only other skateboard game I played was
Skate or Die.
Skate or Die.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, 1 and 2, and now I try playing those, and they're not good games.
You got no love for Skate or Die?
Yeah, they're just too difficult for me. I guess maybe just that I'm older now and
The
my
jousting, man, was
hand-eye.
so classic.
Yeah. The what is it? Is it Skater Die 1 or is it Skater Die 2? There is that comedian, I forget his name, that the skate shop guy looks like. The one that Rodney Dangerfield.
Okay.
If you look up, it looks just like him. I remember saying it's Rodney Dangerfield. And
Oh, that's funny.
of course, it's not really him. But that's pretty much with the NES. I mean, I'm sure there's more games that I can think of. I remember Duck Hunt being right next to the screen, trying to shoot the ducks and realize it doesn't help you.
What about like Turtles or Battletoads, anything like that?
Oh yes, Battletoads. I beat the game, but I believe it was cheating using Game Genie.
Game Genie. I was
But
gonna say you
yes,
beat the jet bikes. What? How is
that I actually beat without using a Game Genie code.
how is any
Um,
game too hard for you if you beat the jet bikes?
I well later on the snake level, that one's a pain. Um, I used to play with my cousin, and my cousin loves. He's younger than me, but he loves to tease. He'll play. When we're playing, he'd beat me up, and I'm trying to sit there and I'm trying to beat the crap out of the rats, and he's sitting there beating the crap out of me instead, laughing at me, and I was like, "Dang it, dang it!" That game is such a pain.
Oh,
So
because
much
there was
fun.
friendly. Like basically, you could beat each other up while you were. Uh, I was thinking you were talking like he was physically beating you up, but you're talking in
Mm-mm.
game. That was one of the most frustrating
No.
things about that game. Like, stop
Yeah.
hitting me.
Yeah, well, he would do that too. We'd wrestle. That's a lot of my memories too, is with him playing. Micro Machines. Oh man, Micro Machines on NES.
Oh yeah.
One of most, it's one of the not bootlegs, but unlicensed games. Man, that one so much fun. That one, Action 52. I played that one. Oh my gosh. Have you ever played Action 52?
I don't think I have.
Have you heard the history of Action 52?
I not. It doesn't ring a bell actually.
No? Oh my gosh. Well, I believe it was only rentals, and the local um, shop, the rental shop that I was at, had the NES. Now, mind you, when I rented this, I believe the N64 was just going to come out. So it was like 94, 93. The Super Nintendo was out and everything. This game has 52 games in it,
Okay.
and only about maybe 3 of them actually work. There's a
Sounds
game
super
called Cheetah Man, which is supposed to be a take on Ninja Turtles.
I've heard of this. Yeah.
Cheetah Man. And these graphics are crap. They're like Atari 26 5200 graphics. And as a kid, I was like, "Oh my gosh, 52 and 1!" And they're worse than mobile games. They're
Oh,
horrible, man. They're not fun at all. No strategy. Only like I would say half, maybe 2/3 of them work. And they
Gotcha.
want Cheetah Man isn't even fully finished. But again,
It's too
it's
bad,
one of my
man.
favorite games because of the memories.
Sure.
I know that I don't own it, and it's an expensive game. I think it's, if I'm not mistaken, it's in the 200s,
Oh,
maybe
wow.
more. And I can't afford that unless I sell some of my good games to get that, and I don't want to sell my Bucky O'Hare.
Right.
Not
Right.
yet, anyways. Not unless if some streamer or podcaster wants to buy it. I might do that.
I feel like
But,
there's a sales pitch happening during this interview. Are you guys picking up on that? Chat? Are you guys picking up on that? So, chat's asking about Excitebike.
Yes, Excitebike. I remember I never owned it. I only played it when I was a kid, like 2 or 3 times. I own it now. I only played the track editor. I love building my own tracks and making them really long and lots of hills and ramps and jumps. I played that at my friend's house, friend from church. We would go over to their house, and that's the first time I've seen a Sega Genesis, actually.
Mm.
And I was like, what the heck is that? And I didn't really care for it. I was like, the NES, man. You got the NES, you got all these games. all my memories, and I never really was a big Sega nerd. I know this is a Nintendo podcast, so I'll continue talking about Nintendo. But yeah,
That's right.
I played Excitebike. The Winter Olympic Games. I played, which was Winter Games, because I know it was California Games. Yeah, Winter Games. And I didn't. My friend brought that one over. Played that one. Those ones suck. But again, what's funny is a lot of my favorite games aren't good games, but it's because of the memories.
I gotcha.
Yeah, the first Ninja Turtles game. It's difficult as heck, just like the Battletoads was. DuckTales. I remember seeing that for the first time. My friend brought that over, and I didn't. It was weird when I was a kid. I was like, man, I didn't like it. For some reason, I didn't like the DuckTales game. But when I played it now, I played the remaster and I liked it. And then I don't own it on NES. So I haven't actually played other than emulating. And now I don't like emulating now that I collect games. I don't like. But I did play some rare games emulating, like Little Samson. That one's a fun game. I'm trying to think of some more games that I played with the NES.
Let's go to the Super Nintendo, man. What about Super Nintendo?
Super Nintendo? Okay. With the Super Nintendo, I never owned one until I was older, but my sister owned it. And with that, that's where a lot of my memories came in place too. Zelda, which is my favorite video game series. That one I remember playing, and because I wasn't able to play Zelda for, same reasons you probably weren't able to play Zelda. Just because it was all in magic and all the...
Watch out. Watch out. Don't mess with the magic. You don't know what'll happen to you.
Yeah. Man, you're scoring good on this one. You get me distracted. No, joking.
It's working.
But yeah, yep. A Link to the Past. That's the first time I believe I played the Super Nintendo was when my sister bought it. Because my family never could afford much. My dad worked construction, and when work's good, pay's good. But when work's not good, my dad didn't get paid. So which I don't blame my dad for none of this. I did have a great childhood growing up, great parents that loved me. But my video game catalog wasn't much until I actually got my own job. But with the Super Nintendo, Link to the Past was my first game that I played, I believe. No, I take that back. My friends did have a Super Mario World, and I would go over there all the time and play it. Super Mario World, Punch-Out, Super Punch-Out. I never was able to beat those until I got older. Contra 3, I remember highly enjoying Contra 3. It's like, what the heck? It looks 3D when you're doing a top-down view, and it's not, of course, not 3D. They were able to somehow make it appear like it's 3D, like with Doom.
Right.
That was my friend, and a lot of good memories with that. I don't want to bring the podcast down. Not a lot of good memories either, though. Just some history with that, which I don't really want to say over the stream, but I do have some good memories with playing the Super Nintendo at my friend's house, and trying to think of Power Rangers. Literally loved Power Rangers. When Power Rangers came out, I was too old to watch it, and so I secretly was a Power Rangers fan because I was like 14 or 13 when it came out, and my friends were all like, "Oh yeah, The Simpsons and shows like that," and I was like, "Power Rangers." Yeah, now I'm not afraid of it. I'm like, whatever, it's cheesy Japanese karate superheroes. What could be cooler than big old robots fighting? Come on. And
You got
yeah,
you,
the game
it's a valid
is
point.
it's not the. Sorry, go ahead.
No, it's a valid point.
Yep, it's not a good game by far, but it's not horrible. I love the just the beating up of it, of the beating the putties, and then you become the big robot at the end, and it's pretty fun game. That one and the movie one. The movie one's better.
Okay.
Uh, have you ever played any of the?
I haven't, but my nephews, who are like 4 and 5 right now, or 5 and 6 right now, they recently borrowed a Super Nintendo from their aunt, and that was one of the games that they were always telling me about. Like, oh, we played the Power Rangers, and they were so excited about it. But I'd never actually played it.
Yeah, it's not horrible. I mean, it's fun if you're able to just maybe emulate it if you don't own it. I have it on Super Nintendo. I thought I had an extra copy, but I only have the first one. The movie one is expensive. I think it's like maybe $50, $60, $70, something like that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'm not too entirely sure what the price range on that one is. Then I remember, I forget what game I traded in, but near where I live, in a city, you've heard of the city before because it was in the news, San Bernardino, where they had the shooting a couple months ago.
Yep.
Or a couple of years ago. I live close to there, and they had this shop where they had it's called Video Game Trader, and I traded in and bought Super R-Type.
Oh, nice.
And I realized I couldn't get past the first level. Never have been able to get past the first level or Super R-Type.
Too hard.
It's too difficult for me. Then after that, that's pretty much of my childhood history with that, because my sister ended up selling her copy of her Super Nintendo that she had, and from then I was only able to play the NES until the 64 came out.
Okay.
Which that's another history right there.
Yeah. What were some of the favorites from the 64?
All right, that's where probably even though the games now haven't aged well, that's probably where, as a kid, my most games I bought myself in history with that. When the N64 came out, I had a job. I was 16 at the time, and when it dropped down to 150, when it was 200, and they dropped it to 150, I was like, I seen it in the Walmart ad because of the internet was out then, but it still wasn't as, it's not as wasn't as popular as it is now.
You've got mail.
I didn't own an internet myself. Where my dad worked, he worked at a place called Mission Aviation Fellowship, where they send missionaries overseas. And my dad, we had the internet there, and I was like, oh, cool, this internet thing is awesome. And so I didn't know when stuff was going on sale or nothing. And I had my saving up to buy this 64. I was like, man, I just don't have enough. And then I opened up the Sunday paper, and I see the ad for the N64 being dropped down to 150, and I was like, oh, mom, and I didn't have my license yet, even though I was 16. I didn't have my license yet, but I was like, Dad, they have it. And so I called Walmart, and the Walmart that was closest to us was about maybe 30 minutes away. And I was like, we got to go get it, Dad. We got to go get it. And he's like, okay, we'll go get it. Because they called and they had it. So I go there, and they only had like 3 copies left when I get there. Mm-hmm. And I was like, oh my gosh, because 64 was so hard to get went over my area. And I finally picked it up, and wasn't able to get no games with it because of the, that's when they started having it where you don't get a game with the system.
Right.
And I picked it up, and I was like, I'm gonna trick my mom here, and I put it outside the door of our house, and there's a wall, so nobody could actually see it and steal it. And I said to my mom, I wasn't able to get it. And she's like, oh man, because my mom was excited for me. She'd seen the excitement that I was actually saved my money, and I made my own money to buy my own system. And I was like, no, just joking. And I picked it up, and I brought it in. She was excited for me, which was really awesome. And I didn't have a black and white TV, but we had this color TV that it would have a pink hue to it. So I played most of my games before the TV went out. I was playing Mario with this pink hue, and so for the so everything like Mario's overalls were purple instead of blue, and his skin was like orange, and it was still I was having fun because I saved up another $20 and I bought Super Mario 64 for my friend from school because I was renting games. That's the only thing I could do, and because I couldn't afford a game yet. And after that, I quit my job and I bought a few games. I bought this NASCAR game, which was not a good game. Top Gear Overdrive. No, yeah, Top Gear Overdrive, which is a really good game.
I think I have that NASCAR in the box. Even I think I have both. I think I have a couple of the years.
Nice. I think I own all the NASCAR games for the 64. I have about 155 N64 games.
Oh, nice.
And,
it's like over half the collection. That's awesome.
Yeah, I'm trying to go for a complete collection of that. But you got the Sculptor's Cut and the Conker's Bad Fur Day and all that I don't have. That's going to be really expensive. The most expensive 64 game I have is Smash and Ogre Battle.
Oh, yeah, Ogre Battle. Very good. Very good.
Yeah. I had about maybe 6 or 7 N64 games. Mario Party 2, I believe. Lego Racers. Super Mario, of course. Turok. Oh, Turok, man. So many memories of that.
Oh, yeah.
Mario Kart 64. Busted Move 99, I believe. Or no, 2. Busted Move 2. That was my dad's, actually. My dad loved the puzzle games like Tetris and all that.
Gotcha.
I believe New Tetris or Magical Tetris, one of the two. I had that. But in 2000, Christmas of 2000, I had my 64. I had 4 controllers, 1 official, 3 third-party controllers. So, of course, I would always have my friends play with the third-party controllers. I had
Bad cats.
6 or 7 games, and I played on an old Commodore 64 monitor, which is one of the best ways to play video games, by the way, if you have that. But on Christmas Day, we go out, and we go to my aunt's house and aunt and uncle's house, and then on our way home, we stop at my other aunt and uncle's home, and when we answer the doors, hey, we need to talk to you guys, and I was like, uh-oh, something's up. And my brother-in-law came to our house where we lived at, and they said someone broke into our house, and they stole my 64 and all but my dad's game, actually, because of my dad's game was in the box, and they thought it was just in the box. And so they stole that, all my controllers, and I saved up all my money for that. So I was, I'm not afraid to say it, I cried. I was like, no, because I was all my money that I put into there, probably $300 or $400.
That's so
or
rough.
More. Yep. And oh man, I was so upset about that because of I'd spend all my money, on memories and with my friends and all that. So that sucked.
Yeah,
But I got most of the games back. I think maybe the Tetris games and the Mario Party games are the only ones I haven't gotten back yet. Okay. But for the longest time, I was not able to play any games early because of my dad sold the NES, all the games, Super Nintendo. Once in a while, my dad would get other systems, and I was able to play them until he sold them on eBay. So I would say probably, I want to say maybe 2 or 3 years, I wasn't able to actually own a system. I didn't have a job until I graduated high school. And my dad ended up buying the 64 himself. And still, though, I wasn't able to get any of my own games. until when I bought my own GameCube.
Okay,
And so that transitioned to the GameCube,
for sure.
which I had. There, I had a really good collection of that. I couldn't even tell you all the games that I had with there, but with that, um, I bought this system, and of course, no games. So again, my first part of my games was rentals, and I rented Luigi's Mansion, which Luigi's Mansion is one of the best GameCube games out there, I think, and I beat it that renting cycle. I don't remember, like
In
2 or
the
3
first
days.
hour.
It was what? No, not first hour. No. Did you say first hour? I'm sorry, you broke up.
Isn't that game an hour long?
Uh, I'm not sure if it was not. I didn't speedrun it then, so I've never actually speedrun a game. But yeah, probably can actually beat it in an hour. But it might have been that day. I think it took me maybe 6 or 8 hours, and I really highly enjoyed that game. And then Metroid Prime, which is by far probably Metroid Prime and Zelda are my favorite gaming series. And I wasn't able to play any Metroid game before Prime, so it was my first impression of Metroid Prime. I knew it was a chick, I knew she was a girl. I didn't care about that. But I played it, and I actually beat that one. Not in one day, but it was equivalent to one day in 24 hours, because it said your time played.
Yeah.
I was actually able to beat the game in 24 hours. I know speedrunners can do it in like less time than that. But that game, I believe I bought that one when it came out. Wind Waker, I pre-ordered that, got the collector's edition. I still own the original collector's edition with the Ocarina of Time and the Master Quest. I like Wind Waker. It gets bad rap, but Wind Waker is, I think, just the art style is just awesome.
I loved it, man. That was such a great game. Like I have very fond memories of just like losing myself in Wind Waker. Like I really enjoyed that game.
Yeah. Super Mario Sunshine, I rented that one. That one's a lot of fun. I really enjoyed playing that one. I was able to pick that one up at a yard sale. I forget how much. Cheap. It was like $2 or something like that. So that's it. Playing that one. I didn't like it as much as Mario 64, of course. But I had the Game Boy player on the GameCube. I owned the arcade collections, which is really good too. Midway, I believe.
Oh yeah,
Midway,
with Gauntlet and stuff.
Yeah, Gauntlet and Rampage, all the Mortal Kombats, which is another game I wasn't able to play until I'd secretly play when my mom.
Not even on Super Nintendo with the sweat, like.
The sweat. Actually, that's when it was. She was becoming a little bit more lenient on me playing games, but she did not like the fatalities. Pixelated fatalities, and Smash Brothers.
Why.
Oh man, playing that with that one with my niece. That's. She would always be Roy and kick my butt, and she was like, I don't remember, like 9, kicking my butt, and at the age of 18, and I'm like, what the heck, man? Now you keep kicking my butt at this game. And yeah, I owned probably I want to say 20 GameCube games. I would live with my mom for a while as an adult, but I would pay rent, so I did the responsible thing.
Did you live in the basement? Just be honest.
Yeah. Well, we did have a basement, but that basement I would not have wanted to live in. It was bad. So California doesn't have very many basements, but when they do, it's more of like the cellar.
Gotcha.
And but all my games, was working fast food, Burger King, and I got most of my games. It was just saving up with that. I would pay rent, pay for my own insurance, pay for my own food, and so about maybe like every 2 or 3 months, I was able to get a new game, and I would save up for all my stuff, and I did the route, which I regret now, is trading them in a GameStop for like $2.
Oh, it still
Yeah,
stings.
yeah, yeah. Well, not eBay,
EB.
KB Toys was where I bought most of my games.
Oh, okay.
There, which I miss that KB Toys, and then now of course Toys R Us.
Rest
Um,
in peace.
yep, yep. I remember uh, buying what's it called? The Twin Snakes game, Metal Gear,
Yeah.
and with that, my you know how sometimes as an adult, when you're doing something you shouldn't do, you hear your mom or your dad in a voice of and I know the video was not bad, but I got the game, and it was rated M, and I was like, for cursing and violence and sexual themes, and I seen that, and I could hear my mom as a little kid, you shouldn't play that, and I was like, and of course, now I'm like, it's not gonna make me, fall away from Christ for playing a video game, and so I went and I just, I returned it. I was like, oh my gosh, I returned it. I ended up buying it. I think that's when I got Smash Brothers, if I'm not mistaken. So it wasn't a bad trade, but I was like, I felt bad. It was at a Kmart, another store that's not around anymore. And I was like, oh gosh, I gotta return this. I feel so bad. So I take it up to the person and I say, hey, I'm gonna. Darn it! I was like, is that my goal or is that your goal? I forgot. I just laughed. I'm crying. I'm laughing so hard here about it. Yeah, I just go blank, man.
So you got smashed
yeah,
from Twin
I got
Snakes or
smashed.
whatever from Metal Gear.
For Metal Gear, and I regret. Man, see, I think Metal Gear sells more, if I'm not mistaken, now than
yeah,
Smash.
I'm sure it does. Yeah.
Yeah, and I shouldn't have done it. But I did it, and I played the heck out of Smash, so I got most of the characters. Ended up getting rid of my GameCube. I gave it to my nieces and nephews, which was the best thing I ever did, instead of selling it on eBay or trading the GameStop, because of after I traded that in, I was like, man, I wish I could get that Game Boy player back, because I had the Game Boy player on it, and that thing sells for a lot of money now. And so I tell my my nieces and my nephews, hey, do you still have the GameCube? And they said, yeah. I was like, oh, I'll buy it from you. I'll buy the Game Boy player, just the Game Boy player, because I already had a GameCube. And they're like, sure. So I think I only paid like $20 for it, since it originally was mine. But
Nice.
I didn't want to be like, hey, get that back.
Right.
So I gave them like $20 for it, and I was very thankful that they didn't get rid of it. So I have the original Game Boy player that I had when I was a teenager and a young adult. And I traded most of my games for Wii games, because when the Wii came out, of course it played GameCube, so I kept some of my core GameCube games, like the Zelda, Metroid Prime, the Zelda Collector's Edition. I kept that. 1080 snowboarding. I know it's not that great of a game, but I enjoyed playing that game a lot. And plus, I believe it in itself for very much on eBay.
No, it doesn't sell for very much now.
No, it's like $2 or $3.
Yeah.
But I really enjoyed it. I loved 1080 or 64 also. That was another one I played on the 64. Yeah, I've traded all in, and at that time when the Wii came out, which transitioning into that topic, I was married. I got married in July of '06, and um, '06 is when the Wii came out. I believe around December, and I traded all my stuff in for Wii games. The Wii I wasn't able to get in on launch day, but I think it was like maybe 2 or 3 months later the Wii came out, and but available at my local GameStop, and so I was like, yes. So I run over there and I say, I hope you guys have these left. One left. So yeah, we have 6 of them. So I was like, all right,
They were hard to
get
get.
one.
They were hard to
Yep.
get.
Yeah, I think for like a whole year they were hard to get.
Yep.
But I ended up my wife actually was the one. She would call every day for me. She definitely gets the wife points for that. She would call in GameStop and say, "Hey, do you guys have the Wii? Do you have the Wii?" And they'd say, "No, no, no." And then I drove, I believe it was 15 miles to go get the Wii, and I picked it up, and then I fell in love with the Wii. I just thought it was an awesome system, and I, with that one, a lot of memories with it too. One bad memory with it is I was playing Resident Evil 4, and up in the right-hand corner, all of a sudden there was these little tiny like lines, and I was like, "What the heck is that?" And I didn't know if it was part of the game because I never played any Resident Evil game before that. This was the first time I was an adult, so I could actually play those games. And I was like,
Did you feel
"What
bad?
the heck is that?" Did I feel bad? Nah.
Did you feel okay? That's good.
Not that time.
That's good.
After that point, I was like, you know what, I'm not,
You silenced the
listening to
voice of
Marilyn.
your mom in your head.
Yeah.
That's good.
Be quiet, Mom. Gosh, Mom, let me play my games. No, my mom ended up. She's like, you know what, Again, my mom was awesome. Let me not mistake that. My mom was awesome, but she, it's like, she ended up being like, whatever, it's your own conscience. If it's not gonna make you, become a goth kid or something like that, go ahead, do whatever you want. So I, or I'm not
26, Mom. It doesn't matter. Don't become a goth kid.
I, not listening to him and Marilyn Manson and etching pentagrams into my skin. That didn't happen until I was 30.
Oh, good.
And anyways, yeah. So I
was that after Resident Evil 4? Because I'm seeing a pattern here. So.
Yeah, definitely.
Gotta be careful.
It was actually when my 64 got stolen. I was like,
you were bored.
There can't be a god, man. My 64 got stolen. Nah.
Right.
Nah. Anyways, I go and I email whoever makes Resident Evil games. Capcom. Yeah, I call him and I say, hey, email him, and I say, hey, is this part of the game or is it part of the or is it the system? Because when I'd play Wii Sports and all that, I guess it was maybe the different color schemes they would have, or the different it was less high-res graphics or something where I wouldn't see the lines. So they told me, no, that's your GPU, and so I was like, dang it. So I sent it into Nintendo, and of course all my save data I was able to keep, because that was when they were smart with their save data, and I was able to but all my Mii characters, I wasn't able to edit them anymore because of when you get your system changed out, they transfer all your content over, but all your Mii characters are uneditable because they counted as a different system, and it's like you didn't make the original Mii's. So I get my system back, of course, and that system got after the warranty, of course. This happens all the time. That system fell from the shelving unit I had it on. We were playing Smash on, I believe, I don't remember if it was the Wii Smash. Yeah, it was. It was the Wii Smash, and we had my adopted nephew over. And of course, I couldn't get mad at him because he was only he's like my son's age, a little bit older than that, maybe 4 or 5. And we had the GameCube controllers hooked up because the only way to play Smash, of course, is with the GameCube controllers. Well, those were my demise with the GameCube controllers because he jumped over the cords to go use the restroom. Lands right on the cords. The system comes out, and I wasn't even playing the system at the time. I was letting my nieces and nephews play the game. I was on the computer, which was right next to where it was hooked up. It comes smashing down onto the front of the system, and I was like, "Oh my gosh!" I was so mad. I'm mad inside. I was like ready just to, yell at this little kid, but I was like, I can't yell at him. He's a little kid. I know it was an accident. So I just pick up the system. I turned it off. It was still working, and I was like, okay, you guys can't play anymore. And I try to.
What a mean uncle! What's the voice in your head? What'd your mom say about that?
Just let them be. They're just kids.
Right.
So yeah, I just turned it off, and I was like, okay, guys, you can't play anymore. And because of the system still worked, but the thing is it would eject the disc. It kept on ejecting the disc. So what happened is when he did that, it fell onto the eject button, I guess, and it would just keep on ejecting the system.
Oh, that's...
And not ejecting the system, ejecting the game. And I was like, dang it. So I had to jerry-rig it. Sorry to all the Jerrys out there. I don't mean anything against any Jerrys, but I had to jerry-rig it and put a paperclip in between the button and the console because I was going to spend $250 or $200 just to get a new system. Because it worked. It would work. I'd able to play the game by making where the eject button wasn't jammed in there by putting a paperclip in there. But of course, it scratched my Wii, and I that Wii ended up getting the etching the circle into the discs, so I ended up having to get a new Wii anyways. But this was much later. I ended up finding one at a yard sale, and that was after actually the Wii U that I got. And the Wii, I had a pretty good collection of games. I was launch day. I dressed up as Luigi. I dressed up as Waluigi for Hate Zero. But love you, Hate Zero, if you're listening. Just teasing you, man. I dressed up as Luigi. I'm a nerd. I'm not afraid to admit it. I go get the Smash Brothers on launch day. They had a tournament. I got my butt kicked. It was random, and I was Bowser, so that was a horrible character to be. Yeah, and I was against Sheik, of course. So Sheik's much more powerful, and not powerful, but faster.
Oh yeah.
And faster than Bowser. And so the guy kicked my butt. He won by 1 point. He went into sudden death. And but that night, I was like, all right, I can do the online system. It's gonna be awesome. The Wii's the first Nintendo system to get online. So I jump into the lobby at 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning. I'm waiting. Nobody's connecting. And I ended up fighting against somebody, and then I was like, all right, I'm gonna go to bed. There's not enough people to play with. And the Wii, I owned a pretty good collection of the games of that. After that, I realized I need to stop trading my games in because of that's when I became a collector. And so I have most of my Wii games that I owned. I have Twilight Princess, that game. Oh my gosh, another beautiful game. And then I wasn't able to get with the Motion Plus when all that came out. I ended up just not being able to do that because of then. By that time, that was 2 years later, I believe. I became a dad, and I was like, well, now there goes most of my my money there. You know how that is. And I ended up getting the Wii U later on. My wife surprised me one day. I was in bed, and she says, "Hey, Cam," and I wake up, and she's like, "Got you something," and I look, and she has this brand new Wii U system.
Oh, that's
and
cool.
Yeah, and I still have that, and I'm not going to get rid of it because of obviously it's so hard to get a hold of now, and it's going to become like the virtual console, not virtual console, the
Virtual Boy.
Virtual Boy, yeah, which I never owned that one, but memories with that one, jumping back to old memories. Remember the display copy at Walmart, and I was like, this thing is so awesome, all the red and black, and I didn't read the warning sign, only play for 10 minutes at a time or how much ever it is. So while my mom's shopping at Walmart, I play for like an hour straight.
Oh, did you get a migraine?
I didn't get a migraine.
Oh, that's good.
But I take my eyes off the system, and all of a sudden everything's blurry. I couldn't see 10 feet in front of me. I was like, what the heck is this? So I couldn't see.
It was the magic your mom was talking about, wasn't it? You were playing a magic game, huh?
Yeah, it was actually that. That's funny. The spaceship game that they had for that one. I forget the name of it.
Yeah,
but that game, yeah. But you know what's funny though is that you say that, and still to this day, when I play like Grand Theft Auto with my brother, or I play maintenance mode. Oh, what the heck, man? This game's going to maintenance mode now?
No, looks like it. Looks like it. Well, hey, we've been going quite a while, so let's hear your favorite couple Switch games, then we'll wrap this thing up.
Okay, favorite Switch games is, of course, the Zelda game and Mario Odyssey. But the Lego Ninjago game, it got bad rap, but it's one of my favorite games. It's my kids. That's the memories right there. Is my kids playing the Lego Ninjago game. That's a lot of my gaming now is with my kids and my brother. But those probably are honestly my top three games. I haven't played LA Noire yet. I haven't played the Mario Rabbids game yet. Now I have two jobs, so for my kids. So I'm only actually able to play on weekdays. But since it's summer, like with my work, I work for a school. I can actually work mornings, so I can actually play in the evening. Which was awesome. Cool. They actually able to play with you and have this interview.
Mm-hmm.
But Splatoon, I like that game a lot too. I'm not very good at it, but I just play for fun. I'm kind of glad they don't have chat on this one for Splatoon, because it's nothing worse for Call of Duty memories when you get killed by a 12-year-old kid and he curses you out. This is horrible, man. I'm like, really? Come on, man.
Always.
Didn't your mom tell you not to play magic games?
Right. Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, that's probably my top Switch games would be those ones, besides also Shovel Knight. I love Shovel Knight. That one's a fun game to play with my wife. She likes that one. And then a shout out to, I don't tell my mom I play this one, Diablo 3 for the PlayStation 4. Yeah. Well, see, I'm killing the devil. So, it's kind of,
Sounds like you need to have a talk with her about it.
I need to go talk to my pastor.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. Well, hey man, where can people find you if they want to?
Well, on the Switch, I'm you can find me asking for my game. Tag.
Whether Twitter or whatever you
Okay, Twitter it would be Camautobot. On Twitch, I have Camautobot. I also have one up on NF. That's my charity stream. NF is for a medical condition I have. NF stands for neurofibromatosis, and I used to save up PayPal money and donate to organizations that would help with that. But after being swatted, I don't want to get a chance of being swatted. So if I can get an encrypted key on my internet, I'll stream again. And then on YouTube, I have a small channel that I want to eventually add videos to that, and that's Camautobot also.
Okay. All right. Well, hey, man.
I'm on PS4, Camautobot, and 1UP on NF on the Xbox.
Awesome. Well, hey, thanks for taking the time this evening. I appreciate it.
Oh, thank you for having me. It was a blast.
All right, man. All right. Well, hey, if you guys like this video, let me know in the comments what you think. If you want to get involved, possibly be interviewed, let me know. You can also hit me up in my Discord. You can go to n64josh.com/Discord and come chat with us there. And we do this live Monday nights, 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, twitch.tv/n64josh, and we'll see you in the next one. Later.